Good morning, everyone. My name is Juan Manuela. Relationship with the investors of the Energía Bogotá. Welcome to this conference and results, or GEB, for the fourth quarter 2021. First of all, do your registration and name as well in order to get access to your information easy way. This is going to be in Spanish with simultaneously interpreted in English and it will be recorded. They publish the results that we have in the web page as well. You're gonna find them. You can do it. The panelists today is gonna be the president, the vice president Adriana Munevar, because of Cálidda Mario Caballero, and the participation of some directors of the questions. We're gonna give the floor to Adriana. We're gonna give the results. Well, good morning, everyone. I really thank your participation at this conference and results of the fourth quarter of the accumulator 2021. And there was a really challenging year. And today we're really proud to be able to share the results of the company and its transformation process itself. So we're gonna go to the agenda page today. We're going to share with you guys the relevant facts. Afterwards, we're going to see the operational and commercial results. Whether today a year's accumulator during the year, if we pass the page, please. Next. So we're gonna retake to John works to relevant facts in the period, and after we're gonna check the financial results, operational and commercial ones during the fourth semester, like 12 months accumulated from 2021. And afterwards, we're going to share the perspectives of business for 2022 year, including an updating of demanding projects and regulatory impacts and business plans as well, related to the finance area as well. And as usual, we're going to end it up with a session with a Q&A session. We're going to start all over with, we're going to give the floor to Monica Contreras, president of GEB, for sharing with us all the relevant facts of the 2020 period. Monica, welcome. Thank you, Adriana, and welcome everyone, every single person who are connected today. And I'm gonna give the entrance to the slide. As you were telling, we're really proud we want to present the results or GEB of the fourth quarter in 2021, when you can observe at this moment where in fact we're closing with a net gross income with 37 million for over what it was projected. It was up 28%, which is really proud. I feel really proud of it because remember of the previous call, this has been first of all some consistent results. And as accomplishments of the team, of the MAS team, understanding as well, in fact, the business is going to be really impacted related to economy and incomes because of the quality of the incomes from 2021, who was represented the closing of the contracts of Ballena Barrancas as well as the drop of the source as well. You can see here how you see the results basically in terms of incomes as well. The result is going to be something over what it was the income projected, which is really satisfactory. So we're going to see the topic. Look at the EBITDA. For example, we have 300 million. We had a projection between 270 and 280 million. where it's going to be full of satisfaction as well. Cash, pay cash as well was we have a leverage of the business itself, a bigger one related to the projected one. So basically, these results that we are doing is just the fruit of every single thing that during 2021 we were doing and moving forward in order to protect the margin, to get efficiencies as well, to look for a transformation process, a robust one as well, efficiencies, agile processes, faster ones, and to have what is to us the paramount ones to deliver a sustainable growth as well. That's why these results to us are the proof that we can move forward and we can continue moving forward related to this as well because it's worth it, because we're capable to do so as well, because we did a bet as the shareholder, the investment, because of the stock that they have. So go ahead. Next slide. Well, so if it's true, I would like to tell you some important tips of this leverage that allowed us to reach the result. As we were saying in the previous slide, definitely all the process of transformation process to us, it has been critical to bring some efficiencies as well, properties, because it's part of the game as well. You can see here, for example, in this every single efficiencies, we accumulated $20 million that to us, they were really important as well. And remember this business, 1 year ago, we were talking about $3 million, and after we were talking and combining the change of the processes, more than 80 initiatives or efficiency in the sector, they get into the chain of within our process as well, where we were looking for basically the results, initiatives, and all the benefits and everything related to insurances, a recovery of sinisters as well, complaints, when we're going to start constructing that number, $20 million were basically, and it's really important to mention from those $20 million, and they will be recurrent. In the case of enhancing, for example, you could see along the way better incomes than the projected ones, and thanks to every single job and some commercial initiatives as well, looking for a different dynamic of the business. We had some different initiatives along the year related to the incomes as well, bigger demands as well from some customers that allowed us to reach some bigger incomes related to the ones that we had before, almost $14 million. It's very satisfactory to us as well, because as you can see here, there are practically 12.6 in 5 projects related to the gas industry. And currently we can say we contribute with 650 new vehicles dedicated to GNEB, because it's part of the commitments that we have. It's very important to highlight, of course, we have been working with some processes as well of strategical alliances with some key customers here to leverage and to be able to give the help, the commercial help, different from the ones who have been presented before in the business in previous years as well. Next slide, please. From the point of view of something which is very important, and maybe you are expecting to have some conversations related to this, the pillar of regulation. Remember, there are 4 pillars: efficiency, which was the one we were talking. Second one, new businesses, new incomes that you saw, and the regulation pillar. So in the regulation pillar, in fact, we had a really short-term impact, which is positive. You can see here, it's not only the short term as well, but you could see it, which is related to this in the short term in the first years as well, from the 2022, which is a huge boost as well. We have yearly incomes related to the resolutions 099, when they were sending $60 million. According to those, basically we need to Remember, we have a new rate. That WACC rate is going to be 10.54, and we have some topics as well because we have been working together in really strength way as well as all related to the horizontal and microenergy as well. Finally, because of the initiatives of transformation, we have been building up 5 initiatives related to 2023 is going to be give us $5 million. In that case, 6 initiatives, they are basically everything related to be able to the innovation and to create the capacity or which is all related to digitalization as well. So we're going to continue moving forward with this pillar that is going to be the results that we were showing at the beginning, and we continue working really hard with some initiatives with the commitments as well with everything related to the transitions and energetical transition, self-generation, our route of hydrogen because it's going to be affect some projects that we continue exploring related to the gas and everything related with solar as well projects. So far, I guess those are my points. So I would really like to tell you that we feel really pleased to bring these results today to this scenario and to tell you that our commitment is going to be continue related to the framework to look for efficiencies and to continue transforming in a really big time. Thank you very much. I'm going to give the floor to, all right, Laura Villa, our Vice President of Sustainability. There are two Lauras on the desk, so which means she's the other one. Thank you, Audrey. I don't know if you were saying it related to the introduction, related to sustainability. We need too much to celebrate because we were talking the Dow Jones being the only Colombian company included in this participation. And this acknowledgement is everything related to the job and the commitments that we have related to sustainability. Today, we want to share our main changes that we had related to 2021, which is the environmental point of view. It's really important to highlight several points as well, because it's going to be 100% of the disasters because of community disasters, socialization of management, because of the ones of the prioritized as well in the municipalities and operational ones as well. So in addition, we achieved to reduce 15% of our carbon footprint as well related to the conditions that we are doing so far. And finally, in 2021, a really important case, we just defined the route which is going to be and is going to commit with this as well, the 50% of emissions in the greenhouse effect as well, right, to 2050. Afterwards, we're going to tell you a little bit more about it because of this. From the social components as well, one of the main proposals that we have in 2021 was to identify the laboral participation that we have related to this as well as a part of the results. We were identifying our contractors as well. The 27% of women in our territories. This result, what we do is to have a huge challenge for 2022 in order to go strength as well related to women and communities where we were operating to be able to contribute to this closing part as well. During the last year, we could accomplish 21 dialogues, meetings, and these spaces had the objective to strengthen the relationship as well with the communities where we were operating. We were definitely reducing the impact and in order to have in the questions and suggestions from communities. In addition, in 2021, we had a huge challenge as well related to intercultural relationship, establishing the communication technicals with emphasizing with the previous consultancy and public and indigenous. We continue the training in order to have better relationships with our communities. In addition, in 2021, we overcame the $1 million related to more than 33 municipalities with diverse and features. We were focused in some massification and rural and maintenance of the productive projects as well, among others. Finally, but not the least, we think it's important with zero casualties in this case and with the pandemic. In the last pillar, ESG of the sustainability topics of governance, I would like to highlight in 2019, we were participating in the evaluation because of the distrital one of the components of human rights as well, only 33 points. We were talking about 2021 to understand the gaps that we need to close as well. And the huge close then for this 2021, we reached 100 over 100 because we were competing with some other training companies. In 2021, Monica, we were doing some statutes as well to work with the board of directors related to women as well. And we did it because we're really proud to announce that our board of directors is composed by 40% women, confirming our equity commitment. So Adri, with this, we close the sustainability achievements in order to tell us from the financial and commercial side as well. Thank you. Well, we go to the first slide that shows the financial development and commercial and operational development. Starting with the operational digits, which are the ones you see to the left, and we were sharing in the previous quarters as well, related to the ended up of the project was going to be in phase 4. We ended up in 2021. 33 kilometers of gas infrastructure in Colombia, reaching the total capacity 849 cubic meters per day. So in the latest year GEB, we were accomplishing the two main systems. We were given the country related to Cusiana's project to have access to gas oil to a bigger number of municipalities, and confiability and reliability supply with the gases of north. The capacity contracted in firm, for example, passed from 755 million cubic days to 2020 to 562 cubic meters per day in 2021 as a consequence of the renewal of the contracts of the Ballena Barrancas tramo because of the natural Chuchupa and Ballena, as we have been sharing, related to all the year. If we see the volumes, transported volumes, they were from 478 to 516 cubic meters per day. We have an evidence an increasing of 800 per day, equivalent to the 8%, showing like that the robust dynamic and especially of the industry. Understanding this operational reality, we invite you to see the graph to the left, to the right, when you can see the incomes of the fourth quarter, where it's going to be $98 million. You can see a drop of 18.6% related to the previous semester and 2020. That's why, because of less contracting operations of Ballena Barranca, we want to mitigate it, import, thanks to that a commercial active, because they have some additional things and parkings or some additional ones, as well as the initiatives on increasing in the demand with industrial projects and vehicles as well. We can see the total year 2021, the incomes in TGE, $385 million, We remember, as Monica was saying at the beginning, these incomes, they were overcoming the guidance that we were gave in 2021. It was precisely thanks to the active commercial gestion of management as well, which is going to be the diminution of year over year. They were 15.6% against 19% that we were talking in the original projection. We're going to go to the next page. And this page as well is connected what we were saying to the year per year. And in the bridge, you can see the impact related to the Ballenas Barrancas contracts and the recovery new contracts during 2021 with a total of $30.8 million, precisely all the commercial management that we were talking here. On the other side, in 2021, we had the positive effect of $22.3 million related to the normalization of the contractual hirings as well in 2020 because of the isolated mandatory lockdown. Passing through the bridge to the right, we see the EBITDA movement year per year, where in addition to have that recovery because of the new contracts and because of the COVID effects, it shows as well in a really clear way the favorable effects and efficiencies captured in the CAPEX in 2021, $0.23 million, as Monica was sharing with us at the beginning. So the add of these things allowed to close with an EBITDA of $308 million, which is going to be able to do so. Now, you talking about these more efficiencies in the OPEX, this is clearly part of the structural process with the company and the focusing of the protection of the margin we had been saying and we had been showing through the year. Within the efficiencies, the more important ones that we did in 2021 are included the redistribution of internal tasks, incorporation of the management lean in maintenance, several renegotiations with some maintenance and operational vendors, better strategic hiring and adjustments as well, and a really hard control with administrative issues as well. In total of the 20 million of efficiencies in 2021, as we were saying, 11 million are recurrent and sustainable in the subsequent years as well. Passing through the next page, I would like to focus my concentration from the EBITDA because every related to the OPEX and incomes. It was transmitted to the closing in 21 of 78.2% against 77 in the 2020 as well, confirming like that our commitment with the protection of the values as well. Related to the gross income in a year, you can see to the bars to the right, we're going to talk about $100 million, $50 million less than in 2020, but our guidance is going to talk about reduction. And it was thanks to the margins as well in order to diminish but the gross income is going to be $74 million without diminishing in the fourth quarter and the same year. This variation in the one-offs as well are related to the unfavorable Contugas related to 2021. I would like to take advantage with you with the commercial thing in the 2021 for 2 years. We are presenting some improvements as well. We pass through the next page. In order to close this financial development and financial, operational, and commercial, we confirm this leverage is going to be with a better level, some better to the estimations that we did with you related to the numbers and investments as well, because you know they had the qualification of TG in the 2021, an achievement that ratifies the trust in our business plans and the financial area for the company, as well as the financial digits. The previous ones, our leverage, it was closed better than we were expecting in 3.8 times EBITDA, and thanks to the best position of the cash flow as well, we're gonna have a better net leverage as well, which is very important as well. Our deadline profile, we have a maneuver level to consolidate the transformational levels in these coming years as well, given related to our rate of the debt, which is gonna be in 2021 with the dip with 554, 558%. So once again, I would like to reinforce the message that Monica led us related to the waiting times as well, not only to accomplish, but also the results that we have within the business itself. So with this, we're going to pass to the next point of, well, of course, of the agenda related to 2022 perspectives as well. We're going to give the floor to Juan Pablo and now our Vice Commercial Development Vice President. Juan Pablo, welcome. Thank you very much. Good morning, you all. I would like to establish this. As you know, currently TG has an structural demand because of the restructures. I'm not seeing the presentation, I'm sorry. Thank you. Basically, we are monitoring constantly several variables, the demanding, which is basically the green, light green, because of the contracts of capacity, the green area, which is the additional team in the short term of the company related to the incomes that you just heard. Basically, $14 million were incorporated in the base of these incomes ahead. It's going to be sustainable. And our projections beyond, let's say, in the short term, are covered 2025 with contracts supposedly a forecast of growth or demand in subsegments as well, where it's about public sources as well, which is the darkest sign to the right, which basically we have been continue having a little bit more offerings as well related to the 60% of total in Colombia of the total that we are consuming related to the consumption. So we're going to give us some solidity and reliability as well, because we're going to have a better quality related to what we are seeing, and it's translated to this because for $160 million in the long term. We're coming some enhancing projects as well to the current reality, mainly are the ones who had working with supplying gas natural, because it's really important as well. With those investments as well, we are in the process of to agree these kind of digits, and basically we have three huge projects: Vallenau Barrancas, dimensionality, which are working with the systems in double way in this case, north-south as well, which is going to be to south-north as well, and to connect those systems, which is really necessary to our country. This is going to be something reliability as well matter that is going to be in the southeast of the country. The Magnific Guarandai gas and oil project as well with Huila Zones and Tolima. It's just an enhancing of 25% of its capacity. Huge players in that matter, really active starting that zone. This investment wouldn't overcome $20 million, so that was really funded with the cash flow that we already have. According to the next slides, we're going to affect and we're going to apply them to the user of the cash flow as well, to the expansion as well. We're going to apply the commercial opportunities that we were saying. Because of the company, we see the carbonation with some industrial zones as well, as we were mentioning, and we hope to have an efficient value because of these coming months automatically triggers the values that, of course, we have been moving forward related to engineering and directionality as well with the metallical connections. Next slide. Well, we have as well an update related to regulatory. There is something that is in the day by day of the GBM in our conversations. And basically to update related to 0099, which is going to be firm when we was updated, the assets that we have our regulations and normative as well in 2020, because are the ones who have been aligned to the methodology of the resolution. And it's going to be multiplied really digital operations. And we're going to be an historical, and we're going to keep the conditions of the 60% of the yearly matters as well. That's going to bring us a positive adjustment related to the base of the assets that we're going to include over there. It's a really good news and says such a way is going to be sustainability, consistency as well by the regulator related to the rules that we have seen here at this public transportation as well. The second grade acting at the regulator aligned to this upside that we have in the WAC things. As you can see over there, we were studying 9.2% before taxes. We're reaching 11%. We're talking about 4 percentile points related to taxes as well. This is a process we should start in order to try to push the WAC over the 11%. And the third is the remuneration in firm of the commuter and gas oil transportation, 3,075 on Wednesday, November, the last year. And basically, we were saying we're gonna become from dollars to pesos in our balance. It has been a donative because it's a congregation that we follow with the government. We implement it when they have acknowledgements related to the teams to continue operating, as well as the acknowledgements that the pass-through that we can conceive of the operational expenses. In the long term for this 2028 or 2030 when it's going to be have assets, there is a direction related to the acknowledgement and recognition related to the investment. It's something that is a long term, the 2027. We're talking about with the government to tell you that we just the Trifari was going to start working together and to articulate with the regulatory action. Next. Here I would like to give the floor to Juan Ramon Camacho, our Transformation Vice President, where we're going to talk about 2022. Juan Ramon. Well, good morning, everyone, all of you. Our challenges in 2022, they were focused to answer the challenges and opportunities of the business itself. That's why we have been saying to us, well, what about 22 in order to keep the margins of the business through the consolidation efficiencies, mainly in the maintenance and operation and maturity of new businesses and new businesses as well. Related to the strategy, we were continuing talking to invoice related to the pillar of efficiency to achieve an efficiency, sustainable efficiency and recurrent ones as well of $17 million during 2022, but also we have been constructing from 2020. And well, we would like to guarantee as well the continuity reliability of the services deliveries of this capturing of efficiencies to implement as well aligned to Energy Group of Bogota, a commercial center service, who's going to assume the best practices in the processes and support, which is going to bring more efficiencies. Facing the challenges of the regulatory changes as well, where we're hoping the change of the currency from dollars to pesos related to gases as well, and facing structures related to the company in dollars is really relevant to assure efficiencies in pesos, which is something that we need to cover in a really consistent way in 2022. From the pillar of expansion until 2020, our challenges start because of the lines of defense in our current lines until the development of these new businesses as well. We have too many lines of action are focused to achieve better incomes for $13 million as a proactive commercial activity to maximize the usage of the contract or hirings and complementary services as well. The second line, we need to move forward related to the initiative and the creation of new commercial products, which is going to be the incentive of the demand in mainly in mobility and industrial as well. Hand by hand with the sector agents, we're going to have some less 15 industry through the products of industries, as well as the incorporation of more than 1,000 vehicles dedicated of gas. And today, the country is at 4,000, being TG one of the bigger promoters in the market. The third line doing these kind of things with the short businesses, taking advantage of the capacities of the equipment that we have during this aging to mature really together working in order to be to the program in terms of operations and maintenance. And finally, we have been getting together in order to have new businesses, and in that updating, we're going to move forward in a really consistent way. And we're going to continue with the maturity related to the plant of the gasification of Caribe as an alternative, relevant alternative of the using of this infrastructure as well. It's really important that Action Lens is going to be supported because of the Efficiency Alliance, which is going to be prioritized to do the actions to keep the best conditions, regulatory conditions for the business itself. And the current ones related to the mitigation of impacts as well is going to be 675. These priorities allows us to have in 2022 some solid financial results for the business itself, and we were showing in 2021, and we hope to keep that consistency. Adriana, I'm going to give you the floor in order to understand the guidance in terms of financial resources as well. Thank you, Juan Ramon. The alignment of this business plan that we are sharing this plan, we're talking about the impacts of the three resolutions that Juan Pablo was saying and 121. So we shared the guidance in 2022 in this slide to the right. If you can show us the slide, please, of the presentation, the previous one. So as you can see yourself, so our EBITDA expectation is going to be found in the 311 and $335 million, an increase of 14% against the results for 2021. We're waiting that is going to be the cash flow is going to be in a bigger values related to 2021. We see the range 130 and 180, the capex between 40 and 55, because as a part of that investment, and of course we have some investments just previously prepared because of our structure and the integrity of itself, and some investments related to these initiatives or new businesses. As we can see here, in that way, our perspective of leverage, net gross leverage for the closing year will be 3.6 times EBITDA, and the coverage of interest 3.5. So I would like to highlight within this, we're incorporating the handling of the interchaining as a result of the complementary resolution 135. As a company, we have taken making the decision to mitigate that risk as well. In that way, we were doing some financial coverages of the bonus 2028 in that way. So part of the 2022 year, part is going to be some associated linked expenditures as well to those coverages as well. But on the other side, also we're waiting for, we're hoping to receive acknowledgement, a recognition, because that risk is going to be handled with because of the transporting in our estimated. So that's why our change, we recognize that value or it doesn't. So we're estimating for 2022 year, as you can see, some solid results that we're hoping with this commitment as well is not only with these results, but with more. We're gonna pass through the next page, and we're gonna give you the floor back, Juan Ramon, in order to continue with the business plan of 2022 year. So for 2022 year, if you give me the material, please, you can share the slide and continue with our pillars line as well. In transformation, we're focusing to enable the business to be able to be successful, and we're tackling our digitalization strategy, and we're modeling 3 initiatives where they are focused and to guarantee our operation and to be able to guarantee our operation and to be more efficient. We're doing the operational and the predictive side as well as line and operational rounds of sectoring as well, where it's going to be our 3 robust cases in for this year 2022, and we hope in a really consistent way to regulate these coming 3 years to talk about $3.5 million in this period as well. The secondly is to continue investing in innovation and in research that in order to move forward to guarantee that the business continues with hydrogen as well and gas as well. And we're doing some investments, 1% investments in our incomes to guarantee in a really consistent way some projects that tell us the new projects or sources of incomes as well of the lines as well, financial lines as well in the post investments funds in terms of production, transportation of hydrogen as well. We get incorporated as a part of our work systems and associations to enable these lines, and 2022 year is going to be relevant to these matters in change and capabilities as well. We continue enabling to the business itself in order for to the transformation is not going to be just a project. It's going to be part of our project, our culture as well. We're going to continue in a robust way our culture of transforming in our district of leadership as well, and to habilitate in order to transform these more efficient in order to be connected with the future of the results of the business itself, and obviously to continue working, connecting with this diversity and inclusion of gender, which is going to be relevant in every single robot cells in our organization. So with this, we're going to give the floor to Adriana. Thank you very much. Thank you, Juan Ramon. So we're gonna go to the next page. So Laura Villa, with that, she's gonna tell us more about it. Thank you, Adriana. Thank you, Juan Ramon. As we were saying at the beginning, the TG, we're really commitment with the sustainability as well. There is a milestone that we need to include within our strategical pillars as well. That's why we have been establishing goals and roads as well, the social and governance. The environmental one, the January the 28th, we did the launching of the mud road, and it's gonna be in order to enable those kind of things with the 30% related to 2030 in 2050. The carbonization routes divide in three huge components: operational efficiency, where we can do more solar efficiency, cleaner with innovation, strategical alliances. We were talking about worldwide alliance with multi-biogas because of its transportation, related to Guajira and Cesar zones as well with the regions. And finally, solutions based on nature. Through this pillar, we're going to continue working in this strategical part as well. More than 244,000 trees that can cover 66 soccer matches, which is the environmental vet for the social component. It's worth to remember we have infrastructure 100,000 communities, and we have prioritized the three areas related to social investments as well and philanthropy as well. In these coming years, we need to be focused in education and rural gasification and gender. Particularly in 2022, we have chosen the education as a first main line action of educational route related to the position in these years of influence, and they're really passionate of this. As Juan Ramon was saying, we have because they have been covering per men as well with the oil and gas sector and governance plan as well. We can continue working on this because it's related to this, because TG made the positions and they're going to be fair. We have been continuing applying this equity commitment and with the women in our board of trustees as well. We were going to be focused to understand the way how are we perceived by others in order to close gaps, in order to be a partner as well, in a better partners in our communities. And finally, in the human rights topic, in the latest years, we were focusing in the human rights things as well. Remember that we have been talking about this in 2022, and we're going to do a huge effort to have some influences related to our contractors as well and our supply chain people as well for our portfolio of our human rights. With this, as we close in challenges sustainabilities. We're going to give the floor for the Q&A session. Thank you very much. We're going to go to the next page, please. Monica, I guess you wanted to. Thank you. As you know, there are some solid results, robust, with profitable for the investor as well, a company from the point of view of the ASG parameters. We have been working to move forward a regulatory in order to, as you know, if you know, it's gonna be open related to open this close. It's gonna be trustful and you're gonna be reliable. That at TG we continue transforming in order to know about gas oil, this energy for the transition that requires not only Colombia but the commitment of gas oil, because it has a fashion thing. I close for the old questions. I thank the team, a new team in TGE, Day by day, they have been betting to this transforming and these objectives, and the day by day with the journal. Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Audrey. We're gonna go to the Q&A session. So please, if you have any kind of question or something, do not hesitate to write down in the chat. We have 3 questions from 91. Audrey, we're going to start with this one. Which is the net impact of the beta of the regulatory changes in 2022? In a relationship with this, we're gonna give us an update for the coverage in dollars because the rate is gonna be in pesos. Thank you very much. Well, as you could see, the guidance for 2022 related to the EBITDA, when we're having an increasing between 4 and 11%. Within that EBITDA is incorporated the impact of the resolution 175 resolution of the other 2 ones, which basically what we're going to see in 2022 to a level of incomes, the effect of the self-operational impact is going to be over 0, as Juan Paulo now was mentioning in its presentation. When we link the impact of the resolution of 069 related to the assets that we got related to this, related to have a positive impact, and the WACC positive, almost those effects will be planned, the value is going to be 0. But on the other side, we have the impact of the cost of the coverages. For 2022, we only are estimating some cost and coverages of $25 million in our guidance. That is going to be as the financial expenditure as the financial one, because it's one of the discussions that we have related to the GDP. As Monica was saying, and is to reconfirm that this expense is going to be acknowledgement because it's a regulator to make the decisions as well. Because of the changing things is going to be handled, and the transporter as well is the only effect that we are seeing here in this calculus. So we're going to have the pass of the currency from dollars to pesos in general. That is the only effect that we have been seeing in 2022 year related to the questions of how we are thinking to handle the changing currency risk. We have been sharing, we have been working together for some months with the company of energy, the TGI as well, GEB, related to talk about the currency changing. It's a really significant change, as well as we were mentioning. The decision is that we are going to mitigate that risk. As you know, the risk was born from the debt from TGB in dollars, $1.2 billion, 173 million with the intercompany credit. We are planning to move to Colombian pesos, of course, and the other, which is the bonus of $370 million, which we're doing some coverages, and currently we have some advisors who are helping us to mitigate, to see which is the most optimal decisions that we've got in order to have the coverages as well. But clearly that is the path that we're going to follow. Thank you, Adri. Just one question to Juan Pablo. If you want to please place Juan Pablo on camera for when we hope to have 0 renewals and operations in 2024. Are you waiting for something, for example, in 2022? What can you tell us about it? Thank you, Manuela. There is a regulatory process indeed in order to check capacities related to the market to make decisions related to the previous year, to its capacity as well, because of the deadlines for 2024. We're going to make decisions at the beginning of 2024 from since 2023. Customers, they could have, and then a long term is their decision. We do think with every single of the customers, as we said, in the end of 2023 and 2024.
Perfecto, gracias Juan Pablo. Volvemos con el tema regulatorio.
We talk about related to these kind of things.
Nos pregunta Diego Buitrago de Bancolombia.
And in Bancolombia, are you have thought to change, do some changes related to 2025 or so? Well, Diego, yes, clearly we see, let's say we have been requested from the accounting to change the functional currency to pesos. We're gonna pass to Colombian pesos in 2000 in order to do that change from the June the 1st this year, and that's why it's precisely that is generating that the currency change and exposition because of the potential difference in change, because our debt is in dollars as well. As we were mentioning, is the HEP credit and the bonus. We're doing some coverages to eliminate the currency change. Thank you, Adriana. That question goes to you and Monica. What about, are you optimistic related to now remuneration of the CAPEX in the future? I can handle it, Adriana. We do consider that in the business of everything related to means transportation, we do consider after 20 years time the cost of the capital of the asset is zero. It's going to be something that is not doable. We're working here with some conversations, open conversations. I do believe the government through the net has been showing the disposition and the availability as well to understand the impact that this means. And we are really optimistic we can close this constructive dialogue on the path of the businesses of TGE in a really positive way for the business. Thank you very much, Monica. And with this, we close up. I understand we have no more questions, so we already closed the Q&A session. We continue with the result conference. Cálidda. Thank you. Now we're going to give the floor to Mario Caballero, our finances director in Cálidda. Mario, good morning. Good morning, you all. Thank you very much for being with us this morning to check the results of the fourth quarter 2021 from Cálidda. And overall, and as always, you continue with good health. So I would like to start this presentation doing a recap, a brief recap of 2021 for Cálidda as an organization. This year and the previous year, we were looking for a really huge comments related to the historical plans and to recover the enhancing path. It's like that we closed 2021 with more than 2,000 kilometers of new networks, 250,000 new connections. And as you can see afterwards, the net The gross income, we're going to talk $199 million and $97 million, as well as 16% overcoming the related to the forecast of 2019, overcoming the estimated and the closing of the year. These results represent a really important achievement in order to have some uncertainty and political uncertainty when the strength of the business because of the expansion of our businesses as well. In fact, which is very important to mention during 2021, because we have a sustainability agenda, which was some far from energy sources because of gas natural from 2021 as well, of CO2 as well. We reached the connection of these popular things to gas natural, the recovering 400 new archaeological discoveries, sustainable finance to $250 million. So be with me to talk about this, the first components of 2000 in commercial operations. Well, the ones that we were working, we closed this semester 753 cubic per day related to the 2021, showing an increase or 21%. 1.2%, we're talking about 743 new connections, and we were building 700 kilometers of the networks, overcoming of the fourth semester results. In our relationship with the financial answer or resolution that we had, we talk about $53 million and 37% overcoming of the fourth quarter of 2020. These results have been consistent with the expansion agenda we have been doing the framework, and it has been maintained in a really accelerated time, even though the economy was increasing a really moderated level at 43% as well. Continuing with the balance of the year, we're going to be able to have an evidence because there are so many important relevance and results, as well as they were executing 273 more connections, more than the double that we had been doing, and a 33% over 2021. And related to dollars as well, the biggest yearly investment related to capex as well, and our commitment to recover the kilometers in networks in some executable conditions. Subsequently, our adjusted incomes, which are the total less the basic concepts, totalized $375 million. In the meantime, EBITDA was closing $109 million. We're going about the 29% overcoming the previous digits in 2019. Before closing this session, I would like to share with you some relevant facts. Closing 2021. First of all, to start, the classification of RICS as well, International Goods and Logia Asociados, and the qualifications as well from Cálidda. Everything related to that really steady perspective, some results that confirms our solidity, financial solidity. During December 2021, we closed 2 loans as the main objective to finance assets as well in order to work with 2022. And the first is going to be loan with Scotiabank, the one who was structured during the frameworks and the loans, and the second one is a financial with these things as well. And after when you talk, so both finance they were executed because of the New York Lions, because are really reimbursements in a 1.5 years or 5 years. So the closing of 2021, we have been developing with the Scotiabank, and the close terms are to start working of this expansion in 2022. From those 50 million available, we have planning to reimburse 30 million in the second semester of 2022 for investments and 420 in 2023 related to that international for $300 million alone because of these $1 million as well, the differential in order to cover capex as well. Finally, in the social environment, with this comedores Cálida, we have because when we reached more than 800 comedores, benefiting some more than families as well. When we cover the same facts, please go with me to do some development. Starting with this development, commercial development, we were talking about 100 cubic per day, 1.8 percentage overcome the invoiced, and which is finding explained because of the initial of the second season of the 80 and 90 in 2021, which subsequently were increasing the demanding of the processing of phase of the fourth semester of 2020. The growth of the volume of 1.27 was mainly associated to the bigger industrial demanding of the operational post-pandemic. So the participation of the industrial segments is going to represent the 17% of the demanding in the end of 2020 to 21% in the end of 2021. So mainly it's very important to mention around 30% of the total volume invoiced belongs to some copay contracts for a useful life for the concession. In the next slide, we can see the comparative against the rate and the neither substitutions in dollars, in millions. These rates according to the charges of gas and transportation for Cálidda, as well as you can see the rate of natural gas are very competitive within the segments that allows to have the demanding of our incomes would be sustainable through time. So this closing of the fourth semester 2021, the competitiveness, the residential is located in the range of 55%, and for the industrial market and electrical to the range of 80%. And passing through our operational development, we can see here in the graphs the results, relevant results that owe these to our results to recover the quantity of connections and red and networks that we didn't do in 2020 because of the pandemic causes, and we need to consider 34 million connections during the fourth semester in 2021, accomplishing 227 connections because it's duplicated 2020 operations, 1.3 million customers. And in fact, our distribution network, we're going to talk about 515 kilometers in 2021, and other milestones where we reached 263 kilometers during the year, which duplicates the networks during the whole 2020. With the kilometers of distribution, we have a total of 14,575 kilometers. Now we're going to talk about financial development. Related to the incomes adjustment, they have increasing in 2020 certain percentage because of the incomes and distribution of the conditions as well, and users in part associated to the building up of networks, as well as in our relationship with the third quarter 2021, the incomes we're talking about 69%, mainly because of better distribution results and internal installations. Related to EBITDA, we're going to close with $77 million, showing an increasing 1.2 increase related to 2020, and the result, of course, of the recovering of the demand and of the control of expenses as well. and I talk about our financial development, we can appreciate here in our debt to the closing of the fourth semester about this kind amount of dollars, which is a composition of international modules as well and local things, and 37% related to the net to the gross debt, $700 million. Related to the deadlines and expirations, total $400 million for the deadline 2023, and the financial is going to be some deadlines for 2026 and ahead. And in addition, we're just keeping a multiple of 3.8 EBITDA with close to 3.4, and the coverage of interest as well of the debt, because it was showing an strength overcoming 2020. Please, let's go to check the forecast for 2022. Ended up 2021 and having taking a one increasing. We hope to have our expansion to 2022, and in this way we hope to build up 1,100 to 1,250 kilometers and 115,000, 125,000 new connections. We're going to about 1.24 new customers. So subsequently, we need to close the $390 million and ended up the year with a VAT of EBITDA in 3.6 and 3.8. Saying that, we conclude with the presentation of Cálidda. So we're going to thank your time. I will have some Q&A session. Thank you very much, Mario. The fact is that everything was clear because we have no questions. Hold on, maybe we've got one. Yes, we've got a question here, so everything wasn't clear. What about the conversation related to the pension of Cálidda for these coming years with the government? I don't know who made the question, but I would like to listen to the answer. Well, the whole process of a new integral plan around September of the last year, the process is working on, is moving forward. We did just a proposal of investment. It was approved by the Ministry of Mines as well. And now in the stage that we've got that investment plan that we had been proposed, we are doing the calculation of the proposals as well. Today we haven't had the resolution. We're talking about March 25th. And so far, we keep the flow of conversation, a very constructive one with the regulator. So just for the calling of this coming quarter, in order to have a conversation in detail, and neither is going to be published as well because of the authorities related to what is coming, the Trifari plan. Thank you very much, Mario. So with this, we don't see any more questions in the chat. We see just we're gonna wait for a little bit. If someone wants to have an additional question, thank you very much for your participation. We hope to receive good news and with this news quarter. I'm very happy and thank you very much for the results. Thank you very much.
No, Mario, nada.
No, Mario, nothing. So I would like just to thank you for your participation. Tomorrow we're gonna have the Group of Energy Bogota results. I hope you being here to participate, and thank you very much for your time. Any single thing you need, do not hesitate to contact us. Thank you very much.